Do it. Push that button.
Chris
Push
is over here bragging about his Europlatus. I was also on Morph Market last night. I don't know. I was bored, so I was like, let me just scope it out, see what I find.
Did you find any Nephrus levis?
No,
because that shirt deserves it.
One day, I wouldn't mind some Neff, especially the Asper. I know those are like the Lamborghinis of Neffs in the States.
Yeah,
but
don't get me started.
I think Asper are probably my favorite out of that whole group.
Oh, for sure. Especially the zebra ones that come out of
so cool.
Yeah, the zebras that come out of Cape York, like incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. But I was looking at the Europlatus section. I was scoping out some Strophurus because Strophs I would 100% throw down on Strophs right now. That would no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Those would happen.
Nice.
And I mean, there's some on there right now.
What are they going for?
I don't know. It seems like they kind of come down a little bit. There was some, I think, Ciliaris for 400 or 500.
That's good. That's all right.
They previously were a little higher than that, from what I recall.
I agree.
I think there was some Williams Eye. I don't know. There's some odds and ends I don't quite remember off the top of my head. So I was literally just like window shopping. I wasn't actually planning on buying anything. I was just it's like, let me see what other cool stuff we've got.
Excellent.
There's only really a couple sections on Morph Market that I check very regularly, and lately that's just been the rough scaled sandboa section. So
nice.
Because I do want to get a female. I may even get another pair. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Maybe 2 females. We'll see. Let me pull up some of this stuff. But we're here. It's Monday night.
Yes,
this is episode 197. We got to come up with a plan for 200.
I know. It's so close. I know.
It's got to happen. This episode, as always, is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. You need a rack, you need a cage. BlackBox Cages. Use that code THN at checkout. Get 10% off your order. Tax time is here. Spend them dollars. Stimulate my economy. Our economy. My economy. If you go over to FulviusApparel.com and use the code THN at checkout and get 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code just for THN listeners and viewers like you. That code doesn't get put out anywhere else. I don't message people that I know that are like shopping around being like, hey, throw in this code. It's like, you have to be listening to the show to get that code. I don't just give it out willy-nilly. So I haven't put this Levis shirt on yet.
It did come out fantastic though.
I'm getting around to it. I've been so buried under mugs and orders.
Really? Mugs?
That I haven't had freaking time to do much of anything.
I'm surprised, man. The mugs are killing it, huh?
Dude, that freaking mouse mug.
That's great.
Like, took off.
Nice.
It's ridiculous.
That's excellent. Excellent. I would have never thought of that.
I wouldn't have either, but Sarah at Twin Cities Reptile shared it, and then Darian shared it, and then Morph Market shared it, and then a couple other pages shared it, and it just like I couldn't. It was overwhelming. Like I was like legitimately stressed because I was like, I have to now make all these orders happen. And like, if people buy off Facebook or Instagram, you have to fulfill that order within a certain time frame. Otherwise, you get penalized. So like, of course, all these orders were coming through Facebook, and so I'm like, fuck. And so, just like hauling to get stuff made and packed up and out the door, and I'm caught up now, so I'm happy. But
it's good. It's good.
It's pretty hectic. I come home from work and spend another 4 to 6 hours working on mugs, packing up orders, waking up, going to the post office, dropping them off, going to work, coming home, doing it all over again. On the weekends, like the last 2 weekends in a row, it's like all day, cranking them out. Just it's been busy.
Busy's good, man.
I feel
Busy's
bad
good.
because Jason Hood was like, "Have you tried any of those quail yet?"
Yeah.
I was planning to do that yesterday, and I literally just like didn't have time. I had other stuff.
He messaged me like 30 minutes ago. He's like, "Did you try the quail?" I said, "Yeah, I put 2 wings. I put a wing in each stiletto." And he's like, "A wing? What are you gonna do with a wing?" And I was like, "Well, they're tiny snakes, man. I mean, they struggle with pinkies." He's like, "Well, put some hot sauce on it, maybe it'll work, or put some buffalo sauce on it, maybe it'll work." I was like, "Thanks." So I'm gonna try to. I don't know how well it's gonna go, but I'm gonna get a really, really sharp knife, and I'm gonna try and cut a head long ways and put it on like a piece of paper plate and see if any dirt is on it, and see if like they attempted to do something, or maybe they nudged it or kicked it around or whatever, because the wings had a little bit of dirt on them. But I don't know if that's just like the snake slithering past and like dirt got on it or what.
Right.
So, but we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, Tyson, my corns were all about some chicken gizzards. I had very few of them refuse that the gizzards or livers. So
yeah,
chicken wings, I wouldn't doubt it. I've had a handful that actually took frog legs pretty willingly too. So, but back to sponsors real quick. PulpySparrow.com. Cold-blooded caffeine. Get it. Best coffee around, whether it's the Snakes and Stogies blend or one of the many other awesome blends you can get from Trey and the gang.
I love that bag.
Yeah. I was working on a shirt with this on it too. I meant to send it to you actually to show you, but I just haven't gotten around to like finishing it. It wasn't quite where I wanted it when I did a little test print on it, but
yeah.
Remember that cold-blooded caffeine.
Remember that thing I sent you the proofs for? I sent you proofs, and I was like, "Oh, I'm working on this." What do you think of the proofs of what is going to be ours?
Oh yeah.
I got to hit that guy up. I haven't heard from him at all, so that's still in the woodworks. But that was more so for you, to keep you in the loop and to keep our listeners on the edge of their seat.
I completely forgot about it, if we're being honest.
Yeah, so did I. So I was listening to something today, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got to call that guy." Anyway, yes, sponsors. Sorry.
Cold-blooded caffeine. There's a link down below. You use that, buy something. Me and Phil get a little something for it. You also get a discount. So regardless of if you use the code or not, their stuff is good. You will like it. And you can get our blend and many, many, many others. Coldbloodedcaffeine.com. And then Puget Sound Pythons, Jeff and Kendra.
The Gendra. They wanted to be here tonight. They did, but Jeff had to work late, and the time change, and there's fuscus eggs falling from the sky,
Fuss. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and then stay in the loop with what they've got dropping, because again, they've got some
the hotness
eggs on the ground. I'm sure they got plenty of other stuff in the works. I know I've seen a lot of females. They were what the hell is it called? It's not sonaring. Ultrasounding. That's right. So they're working on a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
they're staying busy. They do a lot. I don't think people realize. Maybe it's because they don't post a ton, but like they work with a lot of stuff.
A lot of cool stuff, man. All different. Everything from water pythons to ball pythons to lizards, and
they had some corns,
colubrids, and everything. So, Nate, I did not ignore your question. Yes, I did see Dune Part 2. I don't want to give away too much because I don't know who's seen it, but absolutely breathtaking. The sound is just in your soul. Like, the music is fantastic, but the sound. And I specifically bought the fancy bougie tickets to iPix. So me and Anna Maria got the big chairs and the crazy sound system, and absolutely breathtaking. For those of you who are book fans, they cut out a lot from the book, like omitted a lot from the book, but
They kind of have to, though. I mean, they can't possibly fit it all. And I mean, I'm assuming it was like, what, a 2-hour movie?
It was almost 3, I think.
Almost 3. Yeah.
So, and don't get me wrong, the stuff they cut out, you could have done without, but they left stuff in that really, how do I phrase this? People are going to ask questions like, okay, who's this person? Well, it's because you cut that whole story arc out. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So like, it's a little funky in that regard.
Some holes in the,
there's some holes. And like what should have been like 2 years in time span, they made it seem like it was like a week, if that makes sense. So again, if you're a book person, you're going to be like, what the hell? But it's still amazing movie. Go see it. Dune Part 2, but watch Part 1 first. Otherwise you'll have no idea what the hell's going on. So yes, there you go. And I've waited a very long time. I actually figured it out. I was like, it's probably been, because we don't count the David Lynch movie because that was just, bless his heart, but that's don't watch that movie. But I've waited at least 30 years for this, and it was.
Are you satiated?
It brought it. Yes, it was brought in. Yes, Denis Villeneuve did a fantastic job, as I expected him to do.
I'm completely unfamiliar with the series.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. I know nothing about it other than there's a lot of sand.
There's a lot of sand. It's very deep. It's very mind-provoking in the expanses of human mind. But at the same time, it's a sci-fi story. Like, it's sci-fi. You know what I mean? But it's cool because if you didn't have Dune, you wouldn't have Star Wars. Flat out. So check it out if you can.
Like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
Yep, exactly. Back to snakes und Stogies. What are we smoking this evening?
Espada Oscuro.
I've
been
very nice
these lately. I like the Espada stuff a lot, and these are no exception. I find it odd that of all the Monte Cristo stuff, like the non-Cuban Monte Cristo stuff, these are actually, I mean, they're like $16.50 at the shop, which
that's good though.
For an Espada and like a higher end Monte Cristo, that is. Considering there's others that are a handful of dollars more and not nearly as good.
Agreed. But like, I put that in par with Liga.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. This would be
absolutely. Yeah.
So I smoked another one earlier that was like a 6x60. This is more like a Toro. And I did want to talk a little bit about just how different a blend can be in the different sizes. I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit previously, like Lanceros and Coronas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, for when it comes to new stuff, like something new comes into the shop, I want to try it out. Typically, the first thing I'm going to go for, if it comes in the option, is a Corona. Just because that's, to me, that's sort of the sweet spot of the whole blend. As far as like all of them being slightly more concentrated. So when you get into like a 6x60 or the bigger ring gauges, you're getting much less of that wrapper and you're getting much more of that filler and that binder. So you're not going to, it sort of skews the picture of the flavor, if that makes sense. Like the thinner you get, the more wrapper you're getting, the thicker you get, the less wrapper you're getting. And the wrappers where you get a lot of the flavor of a cigar from, and that's that outside leaf that you see. And that 6x60 was actually really good. There's been a couple blends and other stuff where I get the bigger gauge and it's just not as good. It just doesn't, just doesn't do it as much for me. Like the Jaime Garcia from My Father. It's a great smoke in the Toro. I love it. I tried it in the bigger gauges and it's just not as good. It's more watered down. And in a sense, it kind of is flavor wise. I mean, that is a very strong cigar. So when you're getting less of that wrapper, it's not as potent. But I thought the 60 in this was actually really, really solid. It was really pleasant. It's pretty well balanced. It wasn't too chaotic. It wasn't too watered down. It was kind of just right. So
it wasn't all over the place. You didn't have pockets of one and pockets of another.
Yeah.
That's good.
And if Coronas aren't available, then typically I'll do a Toro.
Yeah.
Just because that is sort of runner up in that, like, you want the whole, you want to experience the entire blend working together, like a nice middle of the road size ring gauge is where you want to be.
Yep.
And then if you really want to get the best interpretation of a wrapper, then you want to go into, you know, Coronas and Lanceros and your much thinner ring gauge stuff, because that's where, you know, it's so much more concentrated and potent in terms of the flavors.
Where do you put Bellicoso in that? You put it with the Toro?
With Toros, yeah.
Okay. I've actually noticed a lot of, I don't know if it's a trend, but the last couple times I've been to the shop, I've seen with particular big name brands, a lacking of Toro and a replacement of Bellicoso. And I'm assuming that's just the buyer is, you know, everyone wants a Toro. That's just, it's like the name that they remember. It's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't get it, or they ran out or whatever. So they go Bellicoso as like as an alternative. But I do feel like they are slightly different, if not very different.
I would think that is actually, if they can't get Toros, then Bellicosos are the next closest thing, because that was always the one size in like across the board that just never sold as well. And it's because it's typically a little more expensive than the other sizes. And that's because the torpedoes are made by like the best rollers in a particular factory. So they command a higher price because
they got to pay the guys more.
On paper, they smoke better.
Sure.
I've never been a terribly big fan of Bellicosos and torpedoes, just because if you cut them even a little bit off, you know, they unravel and it's kind of a pain. You don't cut it far enough down, then it draws too tight.
Are you a guy who says you can't or you shouldn't use a V cutter on a torpedo?
No, I use V cutters on torpedoes all the time.
Dude, I can't get it right. I always cut it too deep and it starts to unravel. I cut through the cap or what have you. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's tough, and that's, I don't know. I just find it to be. I have to think about it more. It's laziness, more or less.
Sure,
with
sure.
The quarters and stuff, but I haven't noticed any major differences in terms of the flavors being different in a Toro or a Bellicoso in comparison to like a Toro or a torpedo, rather.
Yeah.
You know, the ring gauge is typically going to be slightly smaller, slightly larger than a Toro. But in my opinion, it seems kind of negligible. It's really not. It's not enough of a difference to really affect any major players in the flavor department. So
okay, all right.
But yeah, so I mean, experiment things. Like if you find a blend you really like in a certain line you really like, you know, try the different sizes and give it a shot. See the difference. I think sort of a good brand in line to do that with is the Romacraft stuff, either the Aquitaine or the Cro-Magnon, because it's the same blend in both, and they come in a ton of different sizes, and each size is almost like smoking a different cigar. Like they're, you know, obviously the flavor notes are all kind of there across the board in the different sizes, but you just get very different strengths, and the notes do vary a little bit because of that difference in the wrapper and the filler and the binder. So it's pretty interesting. And then to smoke that like a Cro-Magnon and an Aquitaine at like the same time, because it is also the same blend, just different wrappers, like same filler and binder, just different wrappers. You see the difference in how much difference that wrapper makes in the two cigars. They're very completely different, but as far as I recall, the filler and binder are the same. It's just the wrapper that's different, and they are vastly different flavor wise. So
very cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, man.
That's how it was originally. I don't know if it's still the case, because I know they've had to change the wrapper on the Cro-Magnon recently because sourcing that Connecticut broadleaf was getting tough. So they had to go with another maybe a Pennsylvania broadleaf or something. I don't know. Raj has honestly kind of cut back on carrying Romacraft stuff just because their prices keep going up and people aren't buying them, you know, like they used to. Because they are kind of getting to the point where it's like, I'm not spending $15.50 on, you know, a regular Neanderthal. It's a little nuts. Like,
well, $13. I probably would,
no problem, but $15 a pop. Well, the problem is Raj has them at like $15.50 downtown, and then if you go to any of the other shops, they're still like $12.95.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, is it like a club district? Like people going in there
I
at
think
midnight drunk?
it's
Or
not. No, we don't have any of that down here, dude.
okay,
I think
okay.
it's just laziness, and he just hasn't changed the price of the other shops. So anytime I'm at the other shops, I load up, like I grab them. It's like downtown though. Nope, not buying one.
Okay.
What are you smoking?
Well, you talked about glass tubes last week, and I forgot I had two of these buried in the
Don't
big
remind
humidor.
me about that damn cigar.
I know. Well, I just want to talk about like glass tubes, and so I got your favorite brand, Gurkha, and this is the Havana Spice, which is generally a great smoke. However, when you get
Infused with bath salts.
yeah, we call it Flocka down here. You know what's crazy? My county sheriff's office is the sole reason why Flocka is gone. They went to China and talked to them. That's how scary my sheriff's office is. Anyway, so Havana Spice, glass tube. They put a cedar band on the inside. I don't know if you could see it.
Yep.
Actually, I'll take it off. But what I was going to say is these are either really, really good or total garbage. Because it's in the glass tube, people assume, oh, it's fine. I'll just leave it on a bookshelf, not realizing that glass is porous to a certain degree, and it's just a nonsense plastic cap. It's not a cork. It's not sealed with wax.
Sealed.
Yeah. So like if you get a oh gosh, now which one? What's the one that's it's the bourbon with the red wax on top. Now I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Why is this name of Ryan Cox is screaming?
I have the big one. It's like the Abuela.
No, I'm trying to remember the bourbon company.
The Maker's Mark ones.
Maker's Mark. Yes. So
well, they're not. So they're technically not Maker's Mark anymore because Makers. I know that company in particular that you're talking about was doing that. Maker's Mark was like stop using our name on them, like they weren't like
yes,
and so Maker's Mark was like stop putting our name on your packaging because we're not with you.
And well, like I've had several different brands of cigars that came in the glass tube, excuse me, that had that Maker's Mark style wax on there. Yeah. In fact, man, it's a brown wax. Now I think I want to say it was Monte Cristo. No.
Gurkha's done a couple that were
Gurkha's done a few
bourbon infused, and then they had one that I actually liked a lot. Which for me to say that I like Gurkha a lot is a big deal.
Now I can't remember.
It was the red. It was like a deeper red.
Yes, the red band.
Wax, and I can't remember what alcohol they were infused with, but they were good.
Well, so I remember vividly a Monte Cristo that had a brown wax on top. And what was super cool is, and the Gurkhas, some of the Gurkhas that have the wax in there, they do it too. But you know that packing tape that has the fibers in it? It's like called fiber tape. And it's super duper dense because it has like nylon in it. Underneath the wax is a twist wrapper of that tape. So you're really sealing everything in. Now on this one, they put a crumpled up leaf. Which
instead of a sponge, typically there's a little chunk of sponge.
Yeah.
That's just to keep it from rattling around in there.
But I feel like that did a really good job of keeping moisture in there because when I first took this thing out, I already pre-cut it and whatnot. But when I first took this thing out, I kind of gave it a little squeeze, gave it a little sniff, you know how we do, and it actually held together really nice. It felt really good in the hand. Here's the cedar. Right, so I'll just slide this off on camera if I can. There we go. All right, I'll just pull that off, which I thought was great, but they messed up because I was really excited to use this to light my cigar, but they sealed it.
Tape.
They put tape.
Yep.
Why would you?
Never fails.
Why would they do
many
that?
Companies do that.
I don't understand why they would.
You could still, I guess, take it apart and like just take the tape section. It splits right down the metal because it goes.
Yeah, but still, like, come on, man. Like,
yeah, I know. A lot of those companies do that, and at that point, it's like, it's an aesthetics thing more or less.
But yeah, Gurkha Havana Spice, great band, love it. Got the Gurkha dude on there, so we'll give it a shot. Lisa chimed in on some Dune stuff. Yes, the Giddy Prime scenes were fantastic, and they left some. I don't want to say Easter eggs, but they left some stuff in for book people, like the white knife and the black knife, and like switching hands of the two knives. Like they didn't explain any of that, but it was in there, so that made it really cool.
Like, let's placate the nerds.
Yeah, exactly. Very much placate the nerds. Introduced characters that book people are going to be like, "Oh my god, that's so and so," and then they never explain like who they are. Like it's not relative to the main story, so who cares? So again, awesome movie. Go see it. I highly endorse it. But anyway, where were we? We were cigars, and then I got sidetracked by Dune. Yeah. So glass tubes. Be careful what you're buying. If it's got a wax seal on top, you're usually pretty good to go. If it doesn't, if it's just cellophane, or if it doesn't even have anything at all, be a little skeptical.
Expect it to be a little dry, but if it's infused, I find that most infused cigars that are infused with bourbon, or I've seen ones that were infused with tequila or anything like that, rum, I usually feel like I have to let those sit out for a little bit before I smoke them because they're so spongy and soft from the alcohol that they just burn funny. Like they're wet, so they don't burn well. And so I usually will let mine sit for a day or half a day before I smoke it and kind of dry out a little bit, and then smoke it. But the whole thing that like Arnold Schwarzenegger, has like dips the end of his like the head of the cigar in bourbon and then lights it up or something. I'm just like, why would you just ruin a cigar?
Yeah. You're just making it mushy.
There can't be anything appealing about that. I don't know. It's stupid. I've seen a lot of people do a lot of stupid stuff when it comes to cigars and like enhancing them.
I'll tell you right now, on the initial light, extremely easy draw, very aerated.
Yeah.
Really, like just barely.
See, and that's the way it should be. If it's a chore, it's really not enjoyable.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like a workout.
Yeah.
Sanchez asked how big that Conicus is. It's an adult male. I mean, he's a 2018, and he's probably all of a foot, 14 inches, maybe 15 or 16 if we're really being generous.
Okay.
Small.
Perfect size.
Yeah, but I'm really hoping to get my hands on a female. It's not going to be. There was an adult on Morph Market that I had messaged the seller about, and he was like, I shipped her out this morning. So that didn't happen. But it was also it was the same kid that was posting the videos of him getting bit by all the different stuff. I had to do some digging because usually I'll research. If it's a seller I haven't heard of before, I'll do some research to see what's up, do a little recon. It's a kid that's like letting himself get bit by the caiman lizard and like,
oh geez,
all the other stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. So Nate's a day late and dollar short.
Yeah, Nate, I already chimed in on Dune, and I chimed in because of you, brother. Rewind.
Yeah, the females are a lot bigger than the males. I mean, it's a boa, so but I'm gonna get my hands on either a lone female or maybe get a reverse trio, like get a pair of babies and then raise them up.
Sure.
I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. I sold a rhino, sold my first rhino, so I'm going to use some of that to fund the Conicus project. And I don't know.
Dude, isn't it awesome when a project kind of just happens like that?
Yeah.
I think it's so great, man. It's like someone's like, "Oh, do you want this?" And you're like, "Yeah."
One man, I go in like in the mornings when I'm turning on all the lights and stuff before work. I'm like, I gotta take him out and check him out. And he hates it. Like that snake he's a sand boa, so he does that blood python sand boa bullshit where they like you can see the eyes moving a lot and you know something's gonna happen. The Jack in the Box bullshit, as I call it. So I know to expect it, but it's just such a pretty species. Just again, like naturally. I mean, if you saw it last week, we were on INAT and we're looking at them.
Yeah, dude.
And
killer.
Good Lord, the variation, like just wild. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I like them. I'm excited. And,
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man.
I like them too because they don't, they're not going to take up a ton of space. Like they're
Yeah.
they work well with smaller rooms like mine.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I like that. I don't have to worry about massive enclosures when they're adults or anything like that. So
For sure, man. Dirt Snake Mafia.
yeah. Sanchez asked me about that shirt, and I started working on one. I don't know what species to freaking use for it, because I feel like if I just put a species that's like monochromatic and has no pattern or anything, it's not really gonna. People aren't gonna get it.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I
It's
can't
tough.
put something that has a ton of pattern, because then it's just like, is it really a dirt snake if it's not like sort of brown and monochromatic? I don't.
Yes.
You know?
We'll figure something out.
Why aren't you in bed?
Is that a child?
Yes.
Is that a human child?
Yes.
Get in bed.
Does your name begin with E?
What?
I want to say good night to you.
Good night.
Good night, human child.
Phil, say good night.
Good night.
Good night. She's just walking around the house with a cat.
Yeah, she just snatched up Hector and started walking around with him. I don't know.
Just living
Poor-
stuffed
Poor
animal. I love
cat's
it.
just
Yeah.
just, damn it.
He's just along for the ride.
Just kill me, man. We're in and out. Good Lord. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know, like, I'm not planning on going down the sandboa rabbit hole and getting deep into them. It's
No, but you haven't
that I'm interested in right now.
have a couple of them, enjoy them, maybe produce them, and go from there.
I will say, if I end up going, like, we get that far to where I am pairing and producing them, which I don't want to get, put the cart in front of the horse. That will be the first live bearing species I've ever done anything with.
Nice.
Like, we've had the Amazons. I never got to the point where I paired the Amazons, but like, I've never dealt with the live bearer before. So this will be,
dude. Live bearers are the jam, man, because you just let them do it.
Well, I was watching. I was doing some Googling and stuff, and I saw a picture of a female that had just dropped some, and like, the babies are freaking huge.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
The
How many?
babies,
They have
don't have a
small
lot.
litters,
Yeah.
4 or 5. Yeah.
I think 6 to, I want to say it said like 12, but there's
Oh
no
wow.
way.
Okay.
But those babies, like, they're chunky. They come out big.
That's great, man. My whole thing is every time I have a live bearer that, with the exception of the girdle tail lizards, because, dude, like, you just don't know when they're going to drop, and like, they're going to do it at obscure times. I had the one female, she dropped 3 babies over the course of like 18 hours. So like, I couldn't have prepared in the least capacity. You know what I mean? I didn't even know that she dropped until I saw like this weird yolk, like BB, like yolk, like something the size of a pea. It was like a yolk blob.
What the hell is that?
And I was like, what is that? I was like, wait a minute, I know what that is. And I start ripping the cage apart and I found babies. So my whole thing is knowing when to change substrate so that you can have an easy cleanup and an easy collection of the offspring.
Yeah, and I after talking to Jack and Brendan, we had them on.
Yeah.
I am very much interested in getting sort of the ball rolling on like a naturalistic type setup. I think that'd be such a cool species to do that with.
Yeah, man.
Just a matter of figuring out exactly what size thing I'm going to do, and then sort of whether I'm going to do like real rock or if I'm going to try and make sort of the fake foam, like how you talked about doing it in the past, where you cut out pieces of foam to make them look like slate and shale.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah. And you don't even have to make them really look that good. You could just take styrofoam fragments, dip them in dry lock, and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, we do the naturalistic appearance of the foam for our own aesthetic. Snakes don't care. Like, dude, with my Arizona Mountain Kings, I was having trouble getting one of them feeding, and I had paper towel rolls in there, and Loafman was like, well, why don't you just take toilet paper tubes because they're short and squish them down flat and just stack them like stacked shale rock. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Now I do that in so many cages, and animals just love it. They go in between the rocks. So I feel like you could do it up real nice, or you could just take pieces of styrofoam and just dip them in dry log and call it a day.
See, I don't know, man. I'm one of those. I mean, you know me. I'm one of those people. If I'm doing,
If you're gonna do it right. Yeah,
I'm diving in.
yeah,
head first.
dude. Like your bamboo enclosure that came out fantastic.
The
Dude,
vision
for your first
the vision in my head versus what I got did not quite add up.
But it was your first
close.
attempt, man. I think it came out great.
And then lo and behold, the bamboo just decided to not stand up. Most of it did, but some of it didn't. And I was like, whatever. It's past the point of me trying to reattach it. Like, it's buried in mulch. It's all dirty. Ain't nothing gonna stick to it anymore. Just let it degrade like it would in a like it would in nature. It was like whatever.
Like it would in Nam.
Yeah. But I think I could get away with not get away, but I could do, those shallower tanks, not the ones that, you're not talking about a species that needs height. I could get away with doing something small and shallow. Maybe one of the exos that's a little lower. Okay,
well, that's perfect for you to bring this up. So I was actually going to ask you off air, but this is perfect. We'll do it on air. Because you are much more familiar with BlackBox's sizing than I am. So the cubes that they have, are they all a particular size, or do they just make custom order cubes?
The two that they offer as regular production are an 18-inch cube and a 24-inch cube.
And that's 18-inch high or
18 cubed.
Oh, so 18, 18, 18. Okay.
18, 18, 18. And then 24, 24, 24.
Okay. Because I was thinking
a 24-inch cube is surprisingly spacious.
Right.
Like it doesn't sound like much, but then when you get one, it's actually kind of big. And I'm personally, I'm not a massive fan of cubes, just because with my room, they're just kind of wonky. They don't really seem to fit anywhere very well. They're sticking out off of things and they're taking up more space width-wise. I don't know. I have one, and that's what I keep one of the adult pairs of rhinos in. The 18 cubes, I can see them being working a little better with my situation in my room. But for the most part, cubes, I'm just not too much of a fan of, and I'm not really a big fan of them for chondros in particular. Just because I feel like you don't really get, if you're going for a gradient, you're not really going to get a good one.
Yeah.
Cube. Yeah. It's going to be more ambient than anything else.
Well, I was trying to think of it. It probably wouldn't work in terms of, how do I phrase this? Okay. So the wire racks that we all use that have the casters on the bottom and you can raise or lower the shelves, right? Typically they're 36 inches. I got to measure the ones I have because I've got like 3 different ones. They're all silver stainless steel, food grade, NSF or whatever. But one of them is exact 36 inches. The other 2, I don't think they are on the interior, right? So it would make it difficult to have a 36-inch enclosure because it's, even though the shelf is 36 inches, it's really not.
Got the posts are going to shave like probably like a half inch off of that.
Probably, yeah. It's probably like 30.5
on each end.
Yeah. But I was thinking about doing is having each shelf be an enclosure opposed to having smaller cubes on it. And I like that they do 18, 18, 18 because you could have 2 18s next to each other and it makes 36, right? But then on that one rack, I probably couldn't fit that, and that would put a monkey in my wrench, if that's the phrase, if that's how that goes.
Yeah, because you're talking about like the XA3. Is it the 18 by 18 by 3?
Well, I would like to do that.
It's the 2 BioGs basically put together,
and that's
what I have the persimmon in, and that is a phenomenal size. Like that is such a good size. It's got good length. The depth is good. I love the BioG standalone, but yeah, you put 2 together and you get that, and it's.
So now, is it too high? Is it a waste of space for a terrestrial species?
What species?
Well, I'm thinking puff adders, I'm thinking Fields vipers, and then I'm thinking rock rattlesnakes, and just do one whole rack.
Rock rattlesnakes,
Probably not, because they're gonna go
probably
up a little
not,
bit.
because you can also do levels to it.
Yeah.
You know, you can have escarpment kind of setups that
Sure.
they'll take advantage
Yeah,
of.
I would probably do like a rock pile in each corner, you know?
The puffs, I feel like it's kind of wasted on.
Okay.
And then the fields,
Would be kind
I
of
feel
in
like
between
it's
the
kind
two.
of in between the two.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
definitely, from what I've seen with the videos and pictures you've sent, you know, they seem pretty active.
Yeah. But my whole thing was
Puffs,
not so
I just don't
much.
see the puffs really using much of that
Well,
space.
and that was my thing,
Take
is
full advantage of it.
not necessarily the animal taking full advantage of it, is extraction of the animal from the enclosure is only 9 inches tall, too thin to be usable. Like, is it like, I feel like 9 inches, like if you cut that in half, that's too short for anything. But you can't go to 12 inches, because then you can't put something on top of it. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Or do you make custom 12 by 18 by 36s, and then you have room for lighting?
Mhm.
Decisions.
Well, I'm confused about the 9 to 12 inch. What are you?
So, like, you only have, you can really only get, excuse me, let me clear my throat. You can only really get 4 shelves on a rack
Right.
safely, right? And I probably would, you could probably get something on the tippity top, which would be like 5, but I would probably just say that for storage, because especially if it's
Yeah.
venomous, it's just
Yeah.
dangerous. But half of 18 is 9. So
Mhm.
if you're equally spacing each shelf 18 inches,
Okay.
you see what I'm saying? I could get 2 terrestrial enclosures, one on top of the other, 9 inch and 9 inch, in the same space as 118. But I feel like
Gotcha.
9 inches is just too short.
Yeah. I feel like, man, trying to pull a puff out of that is going to be, especially a really pissy one, is be
Yeah. It's just,
a
it's
chore.
just going to mess up the enclosure.
That too. I
It's
mean,
gonna
the
be
fields,
dragging
I don't
crap.
know. I would think the fields would be a little easier to deal with, and leps would be no problem. But
Right. But see,
Yeah.
I would want the height with the leps, you know?
yeah,
I think if I put them in, I mean, we've seen how like Kyle keeps them and stuff, you know, 20-gallon fish tank and an adult, and they're happy as can be. Doing an 18 cube for one lep, I think that'd be great. Just stack a bunch of rocks in one corner, put a water dish at the bottom.
Yeah.
You've got different levels for lighting. You've got room to throw in prey items. Like, I think that'd be perfect. But
well, I think of Cody's, you know, you've seen Cody's setups in that main room with those bar cages that he had too.
yeah.
Like that's a decent size if we're talking about something similar to that.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
know, I mean,
Like
you're not going to have a whole lot to work with in terms of like the piles and the escarpments on the side and stuff.
Sure. And there's no substrate dam at that point.
Yeah.
Barely any.
And that is the nice thing with that XA3 that I have the persimmon in, the female persimmon is, and the BioGs for that matter. I don't use that lip for what it's really intended for, which is layered substrate, but it is a really nice visual barrier for them. Like, because if they're hanging out flush with it, I can't see them. Like it's a layer that they get total privacy, you know, from whatever's going on in the room. Which with that little male is really helpful because he's such a spaz. But if you were going to do something like that, I'd probably, I don't know. How do you feel about those lips with venomous?
Oh, well, I would, the lips are fine. I've been dealing with vision lips my whole life. And those
that's an entirely different.
I know. Yeah.
Because we're talking about that vertical lip, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah.
Not really one on the bottom that you have to worry about.
Well, yeah, but on the vision, it's still, there's one on the bottom too. So like I have
I'd rather deal with the one on the bottom than the one on the top.
Yeah, agreed. Because death from above is pretty scary. But like I have a 2-foot wrinkles. Yeah, it's about 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot wrinkles in a vision that has that lip on the bottom. And dude, when that snake is stretched out, I'm like, where the hell is he? And like I'm looking, and then I take the snake hook and I reach the snake hook underneath the bottom lip, and like slide it back and forth.
What?
And dude, he won't make a move. And he's not feigning death, but he'll just sit there
Crazy.
patiently, just like, okay, if I don't move, he can't see me. I'm blending in the grass, that kind of thing. And then finally, I'll feel the softness of his body, and at that point, I've poked him so much he springs to life. But there's no lip like that on a BlackBox, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and I have that 3-foot slider with the Gila, and I filled that substrate dam with dirt. And I got what is it? It's at least 2.5, maybe 3 inches,
I
right?
think it's 3 to 3.5 inches. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
and so there's a ton of dirt in there, and I got it almost to the brim where when I do slide the door open, sometimes sand spills out, which would be great for certain species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been curious to try dart frogs, like if I get a box that doesn't have the ventilation on the sides or anything, and it's
Yeah, or what you got to do is you got to put the screen with the silicone. That's what you got to do.
What do you mean?
Because for example, the 24 sliders I got from BlackBox, those have really wide ventilation slots, and
Yeah.
neonate corn could go
for sure.
right through, right? So what I plan on doing is, if I ever produce anything live bearing in those, like rock rattlesnakes in those enclosures, I'm gonna get a mesh and just
double it up.
silicone it. Yeah, silicone on the inside, silicone on the outside.
I mean, with the BioGs, like you have the option of not having the ventilation on the sides. Like you can make it solid. Doesn't that's an add-on.
Yeah.
I want to try it. I just wonder how the acrylic would hold up long term with that humidity and stuff. I mean, you're not really talking about high heat necessarily, but
well, I mean, you could do like a thin smear of JB Weld. Wouldn't that work?
where?
So you've got your slot ventilation in, say, the top corners of the cube, right? You take a square piece of screen, you put on the inside, you hold it there with a piece of tape, you smear some JB Weld around the rim of the square, which is now sealing it to the PVC, and then you do the same thing on the other side as a secondary precaution.
I'm talking about like the acrylic door itself.
Oh, the door. Oh, I think you're talking about the slots. I'm sorry.
No. If I was gonna do that, I'd literally have Jen like make me a BioG and just be like, don't add ventilation slots, don't add the side mesh. Like I just want the door on the front. Like everything ventilation wise, I would handle myself in some fashion.
Oh, okay.
Minus lighting. Obviously, I've had it wired for lighting and stuff, but
yeah,
it'd be really cool to get like a big communal group of like Rana Tomei or something in one of those BioGs eventually. I've never really doing PVC with dart frogs. I don't know how many people have done it successfully. I know it has been done. I just wonder long term with all that humidity and all the the weight of it and stuff, if over time you would see some sort of
bowing
degradation of the like structural issues.
I don't know, man, because the silicone they use is fantastic grade silicone, and you figure the crappy fish tanks that we use in the past, how much humidity and muck and swampiness we've put them through, and that crap stays good forever as long as you don't scrape it with a scraper on accident, when you're sand sifting or substrate sifting or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like at least from handling the 1 3-foot that I have from them, and then the 24 sliders that they made me, I don't see it bowing like a Vision. Dude, Visions bow so bad.
But is that because they're hollow? Like they've got that space between them to where that air is going to expand and contract depending on.
What do you mean?
Like, don't the Visions don't they have like they're hollow in the middle, right?
Of the
they're
plastic?
Yeah. They're not like solid plastic front to back.
I think it is. It's just thin. Because like you can put a flashlight up against it and the light goes right through.
Okay.
But there's no, like, if you cut into one, there's no like air pockets that I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the biggest thing is that a vision on the bottom has raised. How do I phrase this? On the bottom of the vision, the floor is concave. On the top of the vision, it's convex. Is that correct?
Mhm.
So that way they interlock when they're stacked, so they don't slide.
Right.
But at the same time, it's only making contact on those 2 points. So you get this big belly bulge in the bottom of the vision. But at the same time, for cobras or rattlesnakes, nobody cares, you know?
Yeah. I've never used Vision, so I couldn't say.
Yeah, I have more visions than I need. I basically every time I see one, I buy one, and every time I see one that's a reasonable price, I buy it. And I just gave one to my buddy. He was moving up north. He's like, "Oh man, can I borrow a vision for my move?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course." And he still has it. He actually moved up by you. And I thought about it. I was like, "Man, I'll just let him keep it." You know, like he's got so much shit from me in the past, whatever. And I didn't tell him or anything. One day he'll remember and be like, "Hey man, you want money for that thing?" And I'll just say, "Nah, keep it." But I probably have 3 or 4 more 211s that I'm probably not going to use, man, just because I'm kind of getting away from that mindset. Like it's so hard to, I hate using the term naturalistic, but it's so hard to make it naturalistic in a vision. It just really is, opposed to PVC, because everything is straight and crisp. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I just feel like vision's so rounded and so obscure, and the track is so difficult. But at the end of the day, man, they paved the way. They were the best. They were it for venomous. So
I mean, that's how I feel about the neodacias.
yeah,
Like I love those for venomous. That
Yeah.
was, if I was gonna get back into venomous, that's what I would be going for again, is those, just because I like the one way in, one way out.
yeah,
Simplicity.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
does exactly what I needed to do, which is keep the animal inside.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another testament to BlackBox. Dude, the sliding with the lock in the middle on the glass, and the little handles, and the tracks are cut flawless. Like anybody who wants to get a venomous cage, providing you're not doing some kind of tiny neonate, go BlackBox. Tell them what you need. They will do it. Like, I know it's our sponsor, but dude, like just tip top shit, man.
I'm looking up terrarium options for that.
I tell you, I do love what like Skylar's doing with the what the hell is it called? The netting. I guess it's like an indoor greenhouse.
the grow tents.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
So there's one that's a 20 by 12 by 6.
What's that?
But it's weird because it's like modular, so you put it together.
You're talking about BlackBox?
No, it's on Amazon.
Oh, dude, don't look at that crap.
Yeah, I don't think that would do well with weight. I don't know. If I'm going to do the Conicus thing, I want to.
Bro, just have Jen make you a 2 by 18 by 18, right? And instead of having a 3-inch substrate dam, do like a 5-inch and have a slider. Dude, sliders, it's killer, man. It's perfect.
It's not that simple, Phil.
Yeah, yes, it is, Smitty. Yes, it is.
For them to make new sizes, they have to completely redesign it in like the CAD.
I figure it's an enclosure they already make. You're just raising the dam.
Yeah, I think I've talked to her about something like that before, and she's like, "Yeah, we'd have to completely configure it."
Okay.
I don't know, because I know it doesn't have to be anything super tall either. It doesn't need a lot of height, so
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just the gears are turning. But this is like some Temu made in China crap. people actually buy this shit?
They do. They make it. They wouldn't make it if people didn't buy it.
How do these even hold up long term? Like when you're literally putting them together piece by piece, I don't see this working well.
I mean, who knows, man?
Oh, no.
It could be people with like one Pac-Man. You know what I mean? Like one.
And there's
leopard
the
gecko.
good old critter keeper.
Dude, I raised my Fields Vipers
I know. Yeah,
in
I know.
in Exoterra critter keepers, man. I mean, they're not called.
I will never knock a critter keeper. I still
Yeah.
have some. I still keep some corns in them. I love them.
Yeah, and dude, and like the Exoterra critter keepers, whatever the hell they're called, the plastic is so the plastic bottom of the Exoterra critter keeper is the same density and feel of a Cambro tub. Like
Yeah.
super crystal clear, really rigid, has no flex to it. And then the lid, it has the same flaws to the lid like a critter keeper does in terms of like snapping on and losing its tension over time. But the lid is not the hole in the top, excuse me, with the flap door is not a snap down, it's a sliding lock. So you close the lid and then push it forward and it locks in place. So like I had no qualms about keeping vipers in them, you know. I raised baby wrinkles in them. I raised baby juvenile Fields vipers in them. I had pygmies in them for a while. You just gotta watch your fingers.
Pygmies.
I can't remember what the hell those things are called. They're obviously not called critter keepers.
I'll always call them critter keepers.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's a critter keeper. Let me
I feel like when you were a kid, you had critter keepers of all shapes and sizes, and you never got rid of them because you knew there was going to be a use for them at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I remember living up north, coming on vacation to South Florida for my dad's work, and bringing my critter keeper in the eager anticipation of catching a nulls. Just for the 4 to 5 days I was there.
Yep.
So I'm on Exoterra's website, and I wonder what it is. It's got to be under terrariums. It's got to be. Let's see. I don't think I've ever been to Exoterra's website. That's how crazy this is. It's a good looking website.
Zoomed Creatures Den, low profile terrarium.
Natural terrariums, frog terrariums. They have specific frog ones. That's cool. Let's check that out. Plastic terrarium. The Exoterra plastic terrariums are an easy to use stackable plastic all-purpose terrarium for reptiles, amphibians, mice, and arachnids. Would you like to know more? Ideal for hatchlings.
See, this size tank would be good. 20.5 long, 10.5 wide, 8 inches tall.
Say that one more time.
20.5 long, 10.5 wide, 8 tall.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who makes that?
Zoomed.
Okay.
It's the whole stupid kit, though, that comes with all the bullshit.
Oh, they call them breeder boxes. That's what it's called. So here's an Exoterra breeder box.
Yeah. I always love how the pictures they use, it's like an animal that's way too big for...
Oh, yeah. Well, look at the one above it. It's an adult ball python.
Nice.
Yeah, good for them.
That actually checks out.
Yeah, and I love Exoterra always has the most obscure species on the outside of their packaging. It's like, yes, get this 6-inch by 6-inch cube for your single, pet bark scorpion, but on the cover is a Nephrosamii.
Yeah. 6 gallons. What's the point of that?
Well, at what point did you want to let everyone know that we're going to do a little game tonight?
Well, that's the same thing.
What?
6-gallon glass terrarium with screen top, 20.5 wide, 10.5 deep, 8 high. 6G. That can't be gallons then. It is. What?
Yeah, and
I
Jeff
don't
Frederick
know.
says the breeder box is a lifesaver for baby colubrids. I would concur. Dude, breeder boxes are the jam, man.
They're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
Yes, we do have a little game. What did I do? Help.
You look
Exit
totally
full
normal to
screen.
me. Oh.
I hit a button by accident. What is this? There we go. Sorry. Let me pull
Man,
up
we're
the
just
picture.
a hot mess tonight.
I know. What happens when we have no plan?
I don't think I've cleared my throat this much on air, like ever. It's one of those nights. But I will say this, though. The Havana Spice Gurkha, dude, it's smoking flawlessly. It is not getting too hot. It is maintained its perfect draw. I mean, I put it down for a minute just to kind of let it stop, and then I'll relight it in a second. But, dude, a tip-top Gurkha.
Let me open these here files right quick. Ow.
Just checking the group chat. Chris Sanchez says, Rosie dudes are just as crazy about localities as Alterna people.
Yep.
That's wild.
All right. How are we doing this?
However you want to do it.
The usual?
Yeah, I mean, I think the usual, sure. We're gonna play our guessing game. First person to guess the species correctly wins a prize. We'll give people time to look at it, but not enough time to Google. And I tried to make them easier this time. I did.
Boo.
What do you mean, boo? This species is extremely iconic. In fact, some people have probably even seen this photo specifically. When you Google this species, it's one of the first ones that comes up. It was actually pretty interesting, though, because when I did Google the species to find a good picture, so many pictures were blurry. And I was like, man, this is the photos you guys post? Like, geez, so many blurry photos.
Is Jeff right?
Yeah, just give it to Jeff. No one else commented.
I mean, Valentine said some sort of dart frog, but that's...
Yeah, it's way off. Yep, Jeff Frederick for the win.
Leopard gecko. That would have been a good guess, too. I can see that.
Yeah, you could see some kind of leopard.
Let me show the whole thing, because we're not doing this on the slides thing like we typically do.
Yeah, there it is. The Panamanian golden frog. Stupid cool, stupid cute.
I like the eyeshadow.
Yeah, dude. Gorgeous.
Looks fake. It almost looks fake.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And dude, yeah, it's yellow and black, but like the variability in the dot patterning and like the blotches, gorgeous animal.
And also, are they extinct in the wild?
I think that they like.
I thought they were.
It's kind of like the rhino, where they're still found in the wild, but there's not enough to keep it going, so they call it extinct. So, but there's a ton of them in zoos, so we just got to keep on trucking, and hopefully Chytrid goes away.
We just wish it out of existence. It'll go.
Yeah, hearts and prayers, thoughts and prayers.
Hearts and prayers.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Hearts and prayers. Clicking the like button. Double tap it.
Jeff said my mom lived in Panama in the 70s and loves the golden frogs. Said she used to see them everywhere.
That's so cool.
Next, Jenkins said rubber boa. Almost.
I took this picture and I inverted it. You don't know what this is.
Oh.
This could be an anorexic chuckwalla. This could be a green iguana's leg. You have no idea.
A green iguana's leg.
I've seen green iguana legs that look like that
Oh man.
with that orange color and the bands.
You're calling winners, buddy.
All right. Well, let me put it this way. Are we looking at like, damn, all the timestamps are the same. Damn it. How do we know who came in first?
Because they would have posted first.
All right. So then Chris gets it. Right?
Hey.
That's it. Chris gets it. Well, let me rephrase that. Chris at Island Endemics gets it.
Not you, Sanchez.
Not you, Sanchez. You dirty, dirty boy. Sanchez got it smack on with the scientific.
You did really flip that one around, didn't you?
I did. I flipped it. Look how cute and derpy that thing is. Like I just want to put it in my pocket. It's so cute.
No. Burp.
Blurp. But I thought it was a great
It's
looking
the
animal.
most featureless snake ever. Yeah, we just talked about these last week, and so Phil was like, "I'll get him with a good one."
Yeah.
Hmm.
Dude, in the black sand, man, the contrast in the black sand, I love it. Love it. I feel like this next one, as obscure as it is, this group of individuals in the group chat right now, they're all going to get it real quick.
More features than a rubber bro. That's true. Scientific names only on this one. Mostly because I don't know the common name.
Yeah, does it even have one?
I don't know. Does anything in that genus have one? I don't think so.
Yeah, actually, I think all of them do. Come to think of it. Da 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 ba 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 ba. We need to get some theme music for times like this.
Oh, Valentine got it.
Valentine got it. I was going to give it a few more seconds to like let people chime in, but Valentine had it and then he got it. Egernia.
He set it up and then he knocked it down.
Depressa. And actually, I picked one that was fairly drab looking. I wanted to get a prettier one, but I was like, oh man, if I get a prettier one, everyone's going to get it. Look at that freaking animal. Chris Sanchez says toe pads of Bratzai.
I hope his toes don't look like that. He needs to go to the doctor if they do. Things are so cool, dude.
So cool, man. So cool.
I need to make that Agurnia Gang shirt public.
Yes, you do. You most definitely do.
We'd have like 2 people buy it. It'd be great. Because there's all 2 people that keep freaking Agurnia in the States.
No, you'd have way more than that. You'd have people that dream of having them get it. So who we got? We got Jeff Frederick got one, Brandon Valentine, and Chris Island Endemics. Congratulations.
What have they won?
I've got some stickers if they want, or if they want Fulvia stuff. What's Fulvia's going to give up? I might still have some shirts left too if somebody wants a shirt.
Hold on.
I know I've got Nephra shirts. I don't think I have any more Venom Radio shirts.
Make more. You gonna make more for Daytona?
I don't know, man. Probably not. I'm working on Teespring for Venom Exchange Radio just so that it's mindless and international people can just buy what they want, because we actually have more people wanting swag internationally than we do in the States, from what I've gathered. So that's probably the route we're going to go. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to bring, because dude, I've given away more shirts at Daytona than I've sold. So at this point, if I did make shirts, it would literally just be to give to people for like friends and stuff. So
Yeah,
I haven't decided yet.
I still need to finish that. So I don't riddle me this, okay? I started that episode that you guys did with Steve,
Right.
and then for whatever reason, I think maybe Spotify updated or something, and then I went back to go start it again, and it was gone.
Really? That's not good.
Let me double check and see if it came back, and I just didn't notice.
Hold on, let me look on Spotify right now. That's very weird if it did that. Nope, it's still on Spotify. Still there.
Where? Why is it not showing up on my stuff?
Did you like refresh the page?
It says I'm following it. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it's not in my like new episodes section, but
If you, I don't have a.
I need to finish it.
I'll say I don't have new episodes. I just have. Oh, look, episodes newest. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's not on yours, but it's there. And dude, like, not to sound cocky or rude, I love that episode, man. I love that episode so much. And like all the guests we've had, awesome guests. Like that one it's not my favorite one per se. Can't pick a favorite. But do that episode.
I mean, I don't know how you possibly could.
I know. Yeah, if anyone hasn't already listened, episode 22 of Venom Exchange Radio with the one and only Steve Spalls or Steven Spalls is hot off the press. So go listen to that. 2 hours of African deliciousness. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I only got probably 20 minutes into it. So I'll start that back up in the morning. But I love hearing guys like that talk, man. You know, there's just so much. You guys have a lot of the academic side show up, you know, and I like that a lot. And Steve Spalls is a name that wouldn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but the people that do know, you know, it's a pretty big deal. So
yeah, man, thank you. And dude, it was such a great time with him, and like talking about his books, and like he didn't realize how much we love his books, and like how much people and herpers love his books. And at one point, not giving away too much, you know, Nipper compares Sun, Sand, and Snakes to Caulfield, and dude, he was like struck. He was like, you just compared me to Carl. Like, that's incredible. You know, he was such a great guy to have on, and super laid back. And I want to get more of those. I don't want to be insulting and say old timers, but I need to get
old school guys.
I got to get more old school guys, man. And like, we thought about having Trumbauer and stuff, and like, as much as we praise him, a lot of people have had him on. I know Colubrid and Colubroid just had him on and stuff, and like, I want to get some of the more obscure guys. Like, it sucks because, you know, Broadly, he's passed away, and Store, he passed away, and guys that I feel like we were just a little too late to it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but you still have like Wolfgang and if you guys could manage to pin down Fry, that would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And David Williams and his partner Keith, or excuse me, Owen Pavia, have Owen Pavia on too, just to get two different perspectives. You know, one from the field workers' perspective, one from the lab perspective. So,
whatever happened to that dude? He did some National Geographic shows at one point. It was Zoltan Takic.
Yes, Zoltan, the Czech guy. He's still around. I don't know where he is, but he's one that is definitely on our radar. So
yeah,
dude, that one episode of him in the Congo pulling blood samples out of Gaboon vipers, like, so cool, man. So cool.
He really he didn't. His shows were like, the episodes he did were good. There wasn't a lot of them. It was very short lived, I think.
Well, what was that? It wasn't.
under the radar.
It wasn't his show. What was the show that he was on? Several episodes. It was a show on snakes.
It was like a docuseries kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a recurring. Because didn't he do? Was that him that did the one in India with the Russell's viper?
I don't remember.
They took like the petri dish of cow's blood or something and put the drop of Deboya venom in it and it just turned into jelly.
Well, I know O'Shea did that, but I think no. You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was him with the petri dish.
Yeah.
O'Shea did like a test tube, I think, because
Yeah.
I have B-roll footage that Mark gave me.
Speaking of,
yeah,
O'Shea's Big Adventure is on Amazon
Yes.
Prime. You can buy it.
Yes, already did.
So for people that were looking, Billy Jenkins showed us that it is on Amazon Prime. You can buy, I think, like what, the first season?
Yeah, it's the first season, which is all the Americas.
So,
yep, it's $20 if you want to buy it and download it and keep it. We did it.
They heard us.
They heard us. Exactly.
They knew we were coming for them.
For sure. So, and I imagine the more people that buy the first season, it'll prompt them to put more seasons up. So that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
It was you, Jenkins, was it not? Maybe it was Skylar.
Maybe. But I will say this, having rewatched the episodes now, I completely forgot about like that Atlantic.
Gron.
What's that?
It was Gron.
It was Gron. Okay. I completely forgot about like the Atlantic Bushmaster episode. And when we had Mark on air, he brought up that episode and like talked about, you know, who found the snake and how it was difficult working with these guys. And then you watch the episode after listening to Venom Exchange Radio and you're like, oh my God, that's what he was talking about. I could see it now. And like hindsight, 20 years ago, no one would have noticed, that there was some heated discussions amongst scientists. And then you watch the episode and it's like, wow, man, that's crazy. So, but yes, Venom Exchange Radio, episode 22 with Steven Spalls, all about Africa. Please go give it a listen. Give it a like. Give us 5 stars. We appreciate it sincerely. And I actually, we just recorded another episode. It is mostly me jabbering on for 2 hours, but it is going to be all about hood tats.
What?
It's going to be all about hood tats. Cobras.
When did they start getting called that?
You never heard that expression?
No.
Yeah, dude. It's a hood tat.
Sounds dirty.
It is. That's the whole point. So yes, I'm probably going to release that episode maybe next week, just so that I can kind of get back on track with like once a month, because I feel like the Steven Spalls one was really late to the game. I almost missed my mark. But next episode is going to be the Cobra episode. So feel free to keep your ears poised.
And season 1 is in HD.
Yes.
I'm buying it right now.
You need to buy it right now. It's $20. It's worth it. I've been watching it on loop over and over again. It is crazy to see like the cheesy intro music. You know what I mean? And like so 90s. So 90s.
Dude, it's been so long since I've seen any of that
and
I don't even remember the intro.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I don't remember when they switched narration, but I think the first season the narrator is different. It sounds different. Maybe it's because it's been, almost 30 years since I've watched it. But and no, Lisa, I did not see Harry Green at the Pit Viper Symposium. I need to check that out.
Ooh. Yeah, he'd be another good one, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And Lily White, maybe. I don't know. Has Lily White done much with Venomous?
I don't know. No,
Harvey Lily White.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. He wrote. He did some books, but Cape Cobras. Yeah. Can we briefly mention the fact that Wolfgang Worcester?
Yes.
Fucking shirts,
dude. How did you not like freak out when you?
I was at work and I think a small yelp came out of me when I looked at the order. I was like, what?
So we'll fill people in on it,
So I was at work, right? And my phone buzzed as it tends to do. And it's like Shopify's like, you got a new order for, X amount of dollars. I'm like, okay, cool. And I open it up and it's Wolfgang Wuster
Nice.
bought 2 shirts. And I was like, what? Then I was like, I gotta write a note or something to put in with it.
Yeah. You got
And then
it.
I was like, but I gotta type it up because he won't be able to read my handwriting. It'll look like a serial killer or a child or both wrote it. My handwriting has not changed since like the 5th grade. It's atrocious.
Nice.
Half the time I can't even read it. That's how bad it gets. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, well, what if someone else was buying it like for him? I don't know. I was like, it'll be weird if I put in a note and it's not.
No, you put the note in.
Going to him.
Well, it's his name.
I know.
Yeah, it's his name. It's got to be him. He's probably. It's coming to the United States, right?
It was getting shipped to the Desert Museum, I think.
Oh, so then he's probably flying in for something with Ashley, and he's going to pick it up when he gets there.
I don't know. I also thought it would be weird because I'd be like, "Here's a vial of my blood. Cherish it."
No, it'd be like, here's some extra swag and some stickers. Thank you so much for being awesome. Keep doing what you do.
I just thought it was wild, and then I sent a screenshot to Phil.
Yeah,
and Phil's response was very cool. Period.
I was at work, and it wasn't very cool. Period. It was.
Damn it.
It was very cool, man. Very cool.
Not an exclamation point. Not a fuck you. What do you need,
dude? I was at work. It was doing shit. I'm sorry. And dude, the shirt that he got is the coolest part.
Yeah, he got the Cape Cobra one, and then he got the Coupe.
Yeah.
Monocled one.
Dude, like Mr. Cobra, so cool.
Put it in a lipstick kissed napkin like a classy gentleman.
Jesus Sanchez.
That would be crossing more of a line than the vial of blood thing, I would think. Then we're getting into like Buffalo Bill territory.
Well, that's like in Big Bang when he gets Leonard Nimoy's napkin that he wiped his face with. Yeah. It's like what Penny gives Sheldon a napkin for his birthday or something. And he's like, why did you give me a napkin? And it's used. She goes, yeah, by Leonard Nimoy. And he like freaks out.
Now I've got his DNA. We can recreate him. We can reanimate him.
Yeah. Exactly. I remember that. And Jeff Frederick says I should do an episode on non-cobras, i.e. wrinkles, kings, falsies, etc. Jeff, you're just going to have to listen to the episode, man.
What about an episode just on West African greens and Jamesons, and everyone gives you their shitty story about dealing with them?
I've thought of that.
I survived.
Yeah.
And it's just people talking about they were in a room with a West African that just went berserk.
Well, I always wanted to get like, how they did the like Venom stories, right? Or what was it called?
I Was Bitten.
No. The other one, the good one.
The good
Venom
one?
Diaries or whatever.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, there's one that's not cliche. I think it's like Venom Diaries or something. And but I want to do something similar, but get interviews from people that are not herpers. Like, what happened? Like, me and my child went to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and I woke up with searing pain in my knee and saw a Mozambique spinning cobra slithering around my living room that I sleep on in the floor, and now I'm an amputee and shit like that. I imagine most people would be not inclined to do that.
Now you got Katie talking smack.
What happened?
She's like, that's why you're not getting venomous.
What?
You're not.
No one. I would never let Justin get a Mozambique spinning cobra. I don't have a Mozambique spinning cobra because of that.
Don't even want one. I have zero desire to keep elapids unless we're talking death adders. Not the same.
What'd she say?
She's talking shit. It doesn't matter. Get out of here.
I said.
Ow.
I said even Phil doesn't trust you, Mr. How to Lose a Snake in 10 days.
That's hilarious. That's got to be a shirt. Mr. How to Lose a Snake in 10 days.
No.
Oh, that's good.
I don't remember Venom Diaries.
It may not be called that. It may have been called something else, but
Where was it?
It was a DVD that you had to buy. I think now it's on YouTube.
Not the Venom interviews.
Is it the Venom interviews? Jeff
Yeah.
says Venom Diaries.
Venom interviews wasn't really like that. Like they had Dean Repa
Yeah.
talking about the Bushmaster bites and stuff in like the special, extra section. But
Okay.
look at this, the Peanut Gallery. That's Dustin Black. He's lucky he's a good guy. He's not that funny. Yeah, the Venom interviews is what Jeff is talking about. Which I have that on DVD, and I actually, it was a couple weekends ago. I meant to pop it into the Xbox and play it because I hadn't watched it in a long time. What even is that?
What?
Oh, I see it. I was like, are those coffins? I need, dude.
Snakes that are gonna get lost.
God damn it.
That's
My
horrible.
glasses I'm getting new glasses at some point here soon. I'm waiting on them to come in, but I literally thought that was either like an oven mitt or a coffin, but it's peanuts apparently.
I thought there were coffins too. I was like squinting at the
All
screen.
that matters is you find them.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're under the impression that I'm going to be keeping them in anything other than a locked enclosure. I never said anything about keeping the Jansenite locked up.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between
There's
a
a
pygmy
huge-
rattlesnake and a Jansenite.
Listen to Phil. He's giving you some sage wisdom here.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between a pygmy rattlesnake and a Jansenite. First of all, the pygmy rattlesnake does not have the gumption to escape nearly as much as a Jansenite does. The Jansenite's sole goal in life is to move and go away from humanity. The pygmy is basically going to sit there like a bump in a log until it wants to eat, and then it's going to kind of cruise around a little bit. But the pygmy doesn't have the body strength to push open doors and stuff like that. So if Smitty had a simple locked cage, some weather stripping, dude, thing's never going to get out. He can even do a cage inside of a cage.
What's the point of that?
In case one fails, you have a
I'm
secondary.
not trying to lock it up like Hannibal Lecter.
I thought you just said they don't get out though.
They don't, but shit happens. If the house gets struck by lightning, God forbid.
Look, see, Black said, in all honesty, Katie, I know he would be much more careful because it's consequential. So,
yeah, exactly. Very much so.
plus, I don't even like getting bit by the non-venomous stuff. I don't like. I use hooks with all that stuff. What makes you think that I would?
And
understand this premise of like I'm somehow going to get bit when I'm
pygmy rattlesnake is native.
And no one's died from pygmy bite in like 50 years.
Yeah.
If ever. I don't think there's ever been a recorded death from a pygmy bite.
No. Shaking my head up and down.
It's plausible deniability if you find one in the house. That's right. How do you know it was mine? Could have just been one that wandered in.
I have a Chlorechis with Smitty's name on it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I do.
Come on, man.
So nice that they're so nice to you.
Because they get it. They understand. Anna Maria lets Phil keep all kinds of cool stuff.
Phil was keeping stuff before.
So was I.
No.
I had that Atrox.
No.
Let me put it this way. So Anna Marie and I don't live together right now, but we've already discussed it that when we do live together, everything will be in this, with the exception of her 2 pet snakes. Everything will be in the snake room, and she has full confidence in the fact that my room is escape proof and locked and secured and state licensed, and it's good to go. And that's it.
Are you guys house hunting?
We're not talking about that right now. We're not worried about this.
When are you getting married?
Stop.
When are we coming to visit?
We will talk off air.
Phil doesn't have to certify the room or the caging or the handling procedures. Like I've kept venomous before, and pygmy wouldn't be anything.
Yeah. exactly.
That Aatrox has me so prepared for a pygmy and a lot of other stuff. No. Just Billy, shut up. Damn it.
Yeah, Billy, shut up. And thank you for your
Jenkins,
vote of
damn it.
confidence, Jeff. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't
before?
know. This
What-
whole thing got crashed.
We were talking about people to
Stop.
have on air and venomous. Yeah.
Ugh.
Jeff Frederick said the Phil Wolf School of Venomous Keeping for kids who can't keep small snakes in cages.
The
Look,
Dorothy
man.
Lapis School for kids who can't keep good.
Dude, people got like they didn't get on me about it, like they didn't troll me or anything. But when I had baby wrinkles and I had them like a tub within a tub, just because I didn't trust those little bastards, people like were like, "Why do you have so many tubs?" I'm like, "Because they're cocktail straws that spit and they don't
See,
ride a hook."
and that makes sense. Like,
You know
I
what I
understand
mean?
because I'm
Yeah.
sure they're also pushers too, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, they were in gasket tubs, but still, I'm not gonna take any precautions. So eventually, when they were, they went from cocktail straw to Slurpee straw, then yeah, they got a little vivarium.
What's up with that Chloracus though? For real, what do we got? What do we got
It's
going
my
on?
only arboreal animal left, and I literally kept him just for you in case the heavens shined open.
See,
Actually,
Heavens
remember that?
shined
Remember
open.
that little baby one, the little yellow one?
Yeah.
He passed away, man.
What?
Yeah, he ate good. He was good for what I had him for like a year, right?
Pygmies are coiled hot dogs.
I don't know about that, but no, that he ate good for me. This one feeding ate well for me, excuse me, and then he got a horrible stuck shed. And I was like, that's weird.
Oh.
So I rain chambered him for like I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I left him be, and he only got like half the skin off of him. And I figured, all right, I'll just raise the humidity a little bit, let him work it off on its own. He had sticks in there. I put a rock in there. So like he had opportunity to get it off. And I went to feed him again. He killed the prey item and he didn't hang on to it. And I was like, that's weird. That's the first time he's ever not hung on to the prey item. And the next morning I woke up and both of them were dead. And I was like, wow, man, I don't know why that happened. So maybe he just got exhausted or something. Maybe he was dehydrated. I don't know.
SIDS is real in snakes too.
Yeah. Yep. Who knows? But
You should try and get Chip or one of the Herp MX guys on. That would be a good one too.
yeah, we talked about that. We have
I would
a couple
be
more.
upset about a Mexican venomous episode.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Ophiuchus.
I've got some people that I got to hit up in Latin America, and the biggest problem too with a lot of the countries like Ecuador and stuff is because Ecuador has a major herp scene going on right now. There's a lot of great books being published right now, and they're in Spanish. They're going to be in English eventually. It just takes them a little time to convert everything. The problem is language barrier, man. And like
Yeah.
I got some European guys that are tip top, and they're a little bashful about their English not being perfect. But I'm almost at the point now where we can cut and paste. We can chop up an episode, and if I have to sit there and transcribe or something, then so be it. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. So it's on the horizon.
I've become enamored with Mexican herpetofauna.
I know, dude.
Especially the
not to
montane
love?
stuff, dude.
Oh yeah, it's the coolest to cool, man.
The rattlesnakes, the Bothriechis, the Ophryichus,
Yeah.
all of it. I would do some horrible things for some Ophries. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it. Seeing Derek's dude, I'm like,
I know. Oh, jeez.
God.
I know.
I remember seeing a little baby one that P and Cody had at Carpet Fest however many years ago. I remember opening the tub and it was so tiny. Babies were little. And those Bothriopsis, those bilineata, those were tiny too. You can hire a phone translator for not much money.
Yeah, I mean, we can also. I imagine a lot of the people that I've spoken to, they're Some of them are using Google Translate to write back, and you can tell because it kind of doesn't always make perfect grammatical sense. But I feel like a lot of them, they do speak English. It's just broken. And because if we were having a conversation just hanging out, it wouldn't be that big a deal. They wouldn't feel bashful about it. But when they know that it's a podcast, they know that it's going to be on air, so to speak, there is some apprehension there. But we got a lot of cool people lined up. It's just getting everybody's schedules together, man. That international thing is just killer. Even with just me and Nipper, it's just rough, 5 hours ahead. So,
yep.
Yeah.
I don't know what a dildo skink is. Sanchez is Sanchezing. I don't know. The irony is like a lot of those guys can speak like 4 or 5 different languages. It's just English is not one of those.
Yeah, right.
4 or 5. I had a physics teacher in high school, and she could speak like 4 different languages. Boda?
She was Romanian.
Yeah, but she could speak like legit. She could speak like Russian and like 3 other languages. Get out of here. See?
You can tell me he's Graham.
Yes. Get.
The man said get.
I tell her that all the time. Her, the kid, the dog. Get.
Well, on to podcast news. Episode 3 of Flipping 10 is out for those who have not listened to it.
I gotta finish listening to that too.
Yeah, you do. Dude, there's too many good shows right now. Jesus.
Well, me and Chris were recording Corn Stars while they were doing that. So like by the time I got finished, I caught the last like 15 or 20 minutes of it. And,
Well, I really loved their ambition to get more people in the field. And I realized that most of the country hasn't started warming up yet. I have no excuse because I live where I live. But I hadn't really gone out since the new year. So especially road cruising. And that's my, modus operandi. So the Wyman family was down on a little vacation. And last night, the good doctor and his cherubs accompanied me on a little cane field run. And we found some pretty cool stuff, man. Nothing too off the cuff. Predominantly looking for king snakes and pygmies. Did not find either one. It was a little drizzly and it was a little cool, but the temp stayed above 70. It fluctuated between like 70 and 73. When it drizzled, it was like 71, 70, and then it was when it stopped. But our first catch of the night was a really nice banded Nerodia.
It's drizzling because of all this drip Doc got with them cargo.
Yeah, I know, right?
The ones that zip off at the knee.
I have no idea, but that headlamp is actually one that I got.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. So Rob Stone has them. He turned me on to them.
It's like a touch, like you just touch the side.
It's got a button, but it's an LED strip across your forehead. It's not one light. So the field of view is fantastic. Now, if
you look like Cyclops from X-Men,
and you look like Cyclops from X-Men, right? If you're like walking through the bush, it's awesome. If you're pinpointing something, you can actually tap the side a couple times and it goes to a direct beam, which is great. And let's be real, it's like $15 on Amazon. So it's not the brightest, it's not the best, but he forgot his headlamp at the Airbnb. So I just keep that one in my glove box just in case, Anna Maria wants one or something. So he put that on and I got to do a write up on that because those things are awesome for $15 on Amazon. But yeah, nice Nerodia. And he spotted it, man. It was just the head of the snake barely sticking out off the shoulder on the white line of the road. So you can see it was kind of overcast that night. And it's a good looking animal.
Which way to go?
I never know which way to left or right, So
angry,
and then we found a garter. Yeah, dude, that garter was super pretty. Photos don't do it justice. It was mostly green with blue on the cheeks and the neck.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a blue garter. It wasn't, but it had so much blue that you had to look twice, But what is super interesting is I don't know if you can zoom in. the snake was heavily scarred, like just been.
If I can't zoom in, because if
You
I
can't zoom in?
on
Okay.
Facebook, it's just going to make everything else bigger and keep that the same size.
Okay. So yeah, if people want to see it, I can send it to them. But major scars all over the snake, and wherever the scars were, the scalation grew back jet black. Very, very interesting scarring on the animal. But I imagine it's from fighting, bobcats or birds or whatever. But the snake was a trooper, man. It bit Doc like 3 or 4 times. You can see he's got a little blood in his hand. But yeah, it's good to see garter snakes on the move, man. I don't see them too often these days, and I think it has a lot to do with same reason why we don't see king snakes is a lot of agricultural runoff, a lot of pesticides in the canals and stuff. So
I mean, I think especially with them, given their diet,
yeah,
much more susceptible to that kind of thing.
oh for sure.
But the trio that I find under one of the stacks of tin on a regular basis, like it's kind of the same thing. Like their tails are missing the tips of them, and
oh really?
you can tell they've definitely seen some shit.
Yeah. Troopers, man. So, and this one totally got me off guard. So
Totally
got me off guard. So I told Doc's kids, I was like, first time out, youngest kid in the car has to catch the first toad, right? That's just the rule. And I was hoping to see some big diesel cane toads out there. We actually only saw 2, which was great. But before we saw those 2, we found this southern toad, which I've never, I was thinking about it. I told Doc, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th southern toad I've seen in this area. This may have been the 1st or 2nd one I've ever seen on this road at this time of year, if anything. Mostly it's just cane toads because you're in the sugarcane fields and it's just infested with canes, but we really didn't see any. But this guy was out at 70 degrees in the rain, catching bugs, living life. Gorgeous color. Really, for those listening on their ride to work, very gray with some slate undertones and like a very, very opaque olive color. Dorsal stripe is kind of faint, but very marbled in appearance. A great looking toad, man. So that was the first one. And then literally like, I don't know, 10 minutes later, we found the next photo. Another southern toad, totally different looking. This one had much larger parentoid glands, much larger cranial horns, a very, very defined vertebral stripe, almost white. Picture really doesn't do it justice. And I think his daughter, he's going to yell at me when he hears this. I think she's like 11. So just for size comparison of her hands holding the toad, it was a pretty good sized southern. Not the biggest one on the block, but good to see a healthy specimen like that hopping around in such an urban area. More typical southern toad coloration, greens and browns, but dude, the white stripe, like it's like a radioactive oak toad.
Sir, they don't hop, they bebop.
Yeah. And no, Jeff, Julie didn't tag along. She stayed behind.
It's a big old cane.
There's a cane. So that was the first cane we got, and we didn't get pictures of the second cane because it was kind of smaller. But dude, that thing was diesel, a fine representation of the South Florida cane toad. Look at that thing, and that's Doc's hands holding it. So a grown 6 foot tall man. It's pretty crazy. Like looking at the gland size difference between between Ranella and Southerns, like the dude in terms of like the ratio of the gland to the size of the head area, dude, cane toads are just huge. That's a bobcat that was like 6 feet away from the car. I had just started driving again. I was like, is that a mammal? And I was like, oh shit, bobcat. And I just slammed on my brakes, and that's me shining my headlamp over Doc's shoulder as he used his DSLR to shoot out the window. But yeah, man, again, just a good looking mammal doing its thing on a nice night. Love bobcats.
Yeah, they're here. I've never seen one around here, but we've got them.
Yeah.
They're cool. It's one of those native species that I'm sure there's some really interesting ecology behind.
Oh, for sure. And so variable in pattern to a certain extent, and then variable in habitat, man. I mean, up by you in some swamps, down by me in some swamps, higher sandy elevation, pine tree forests. Super cool.
Jeff wants to know if you can catch him a giant cane toad.
Yeah, hit me up. We'll figure it out.
I'll say people catch them and sell them there, right? Isn't that something?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
There's nothing against
Yeah, places like Underground and Strictly, they'll have a kid go out one night and catch a couple hundred of them, and then they ship them off for pets or whatever. Chris Sages says Doc Wyman is a good-looking mammal. That he is. So good times though.
Does he sent a screenshot of them and their Google Maps route or something, and he was driving past us, and so Jake was like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "Going down to see Phil. Sorry."
Well, with all due respect to the Beaufort boys, his grandmother-in-law, I think I said that right, lives down by me, so they come once a year to see her and spend time with her and stuff. So
I'm not mad, Doc. I'm just disappointed.
And yeah, Jeff, hit me up and we'll figure something out. So
before we started earlier, I went on a shopping spree on Amazon for Daytona Expo supply.
Ooh, do share.
I got a card reader.
Good for you.
Because Billy said very few people actually use cash anymore at Daytona, I guess.
Nobody's got cash.
Which makes me feel like an idiot because I feel like I'm the first one in line at the ATM every year.
Yeah, right. Oh, that ATM's still going to get emptied after day one. That's for sure.
And then, it makes me wonder how much those things actually hold. I bet you Sanchez could tell us.
Yeah, right. And I also feel like people at a show, although probably take out a good amount of cash, are less apt to spend cash on, say, a shirt or cages or dry goods of any kind. They're going to save that cash for animals and bartering and what have you.
Bleacher Reacher 500.
Oh, God. Jesus, Sanchez. I can't wait for him to be at Daytona, man. This is going to be horribly good between him and Keller, man. Oh, it's going to be rough.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. I got a card reader. I got a 6-panel display wall thing that folds. So it's almost like a divider that you would use for a small room.
Oh, nice. For the shirts.
But it's got peg holes in it. So you can hang stuff from it and whatnot.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
And it's 9 feet long. So I figured that would be better than a wire rack because then you're not seeing everything that's behind in the other booth behind me. And it kind of gives some separation. And got a table cover, got a table runner, got about 1,000 cards that are just care instruction cards. I need to get some actual business cards made too, I guess. But what else? I had to get a whole bunch of stuff, mostly display stuff. I still need to figure out if I want to get a small banner or something. But I don't know. I need to call and make sure Wayne got my money order too. I keep meaning to do that, and by the time I remember, it's 8:00 at night. And
that's why
Wayne's asleep.
Yeah, that's why I always prefer to do stuff like that with an actual check, because then I can see if it got cashed. So
I don't think I've ever written a check in my adult life.
Really?
Never found a reason to.
Interesting.
I don't think I even have checks that I could use to write.
Well, so I write so few checks that I don't have a checkbook, but what I do is I go to the bank and I can buy, I think it's $5 or whatever, and you get 4 or 5 checks on a sheet, that have like your account number and everything on them,
Mhm.
and I just save them for when I need a check. You know.
Sanchez said normal standalone ATMs holds 40,000.
Oh wow. And Jeff Frederick, if you come to Daytona, I will bring you a cane toad for sure. Yeah, it sounds like you're getting set up, man. That's great. Do you know where your booth is going to be?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm very concerned that I'm going to get shoved in a corner in the second room. I mean, when I talked to Wayne multiple times, he was like, "Well, where did you want to be?" And I was like, "If I can be near Billy Hunt, that'd be great." And he kind of laughed at me a little bit, and he was like, "Okay, buddy."
Yeah.
Which, like, I understand repeat vendors and stuff should get a level of priority in terms of like placement and stuff, but to also kind of just throw new people wherever you feel like they should go is kind of a little brutal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Because I especially hope that I don't like where Venom Life was last year in that weird intermediary room before you go into the second one where it was like a dungeon and there was like no light.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in there either.
Yeah, agreed.
We'll see. Because I feel like that a lot of that can kind of make or break how it goes.
Sure.
You know, but Full-Beast apparel does come in unisex. That is primarily what I print on. If people need youth or tall or lady sizes, you just message me and I can print on those. Next to the rhinos. Yeah, I'm not going to bring any animals. I'm bringing some, but they're going to Billy. But I'm not selling anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with the paperwork and FWC and all that stuff, you know. Just
Oh yeah.
I feel like though if I was going to, I would like over the course of like 2 or 3 years just amass a bunch of rhinos and literally just have a table of nothing but rhino rats. And probably sell out.
That'd be pretty cool.
I think I've seen 2 rhino rats at the last like 3 Daytonas.
Chris Sanchez says going to be next to the wooden frog toy guy.
Don't say that.
Oh, geez. I will say this. I made a horrible mistake of renewing my class 3 permit like, I don't know, 3 weeks before it expired, maybe like a month before it expired. And they always say, do it, 90 days in advance. Well, like,
yeah, they say that about the concealed weapons permit too.
Yeah, they say about all that crap. So I put in for my renewal in October. I never got an email, and it's all this new digital system. Like, dude, I used to fill out the form with a pen and a paper, put a check in the envelope, mail it off. Everything got handled. I got a license in the mail, like normal. Now it's all digital. It's all in an app. The app isn't an actual app. It's just a website that you use on a mobile device. Your login is the same as the other website, but you can't look at both information on one site. You have to go to 2 different sites. So finally, I was like, you know what? It's been so long. Let me look let me log into the account because I never got an approval email, right? It's all PDF shit now. So I look, it was finally approved in January. So my license expired in October. In October, and it was approved. My renewal was approved in the end of January. What the fuck?
I mean, they probably, if it's anything like it is in South Carolina, like with concealed weapons permits and stuff, like the office that handles that, from what I've been told, has like 3 people working in it, and they're the ones that are supposed to manage an entire state's worth of permits and renewals. So
right, but this is not.
They're always like,
but this is not weapons permits or the DMV. This is just captive wildlife. There's not as much as people think.
I don't know.
I think it's just.
But they always they say now they're like, start getting your renewal in like 3 to 6 months before it's supposed to expire, because that's how long it can take for that
What
to actually
which
happen.
but that doesn't but that's stupid because the license is only valid for 1 year. And in actuality, if you did it that way, your license would only be valid for 10 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
like it's money, man. It's all about the money. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting on a podium.
Was that around the time frame they were bolt gunning snakes?
Ooh, too soon and no. Actually,
You remember
was
how
it?
people said they were never gonna let FWC forget that happened or like brush it under the rug, and then everyone after like 2 weeks stopped talking about it?
No, people still talk about that shit. And there's a lot more going on than we think in that regard, but mainstream media, they don't give a shit anymore. They got bigger fish to fry.
If Daytona's in August, you might consider some back to school giveaways. I thought about having like a little like spin the wheel thing, and people can, if they get like Wheel of Fortune kind of thing, you get a shirt if it lands on a certain thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, you might be giving away a lot of crap.
So I'll make it like 8 inches, but then the sliver for the free shirt is gonna be like that.
Yeah, exactly. The rest is really cool vinyl decals.
Oh god, that's a whole nother thing. I gotta make a ass of decals, man. That's
Yeah, you
something
do.
else that'll spin. I'll like making just those little 3-inch decals that I include with orders. Like that's straight up a weekend of making sheets and sheets of decals and then weeding them and then putting the transfer tape on and cutting them up, and just there's a lot.
Yeah.
Custom backpack, maybe. I thought about doing some of the like the herping backpack type deals that I have that I like a lot. I just don't know. I don't think people would buy those. I don't think that'd be.
I think if you made a lightweight, whether it be ripstop material or polyester or whatever, a lightweight backpack that is thin, has good shoulder pads, and will take a camelback, a long skinny camelback, and has little cubbies in there to slide your snake hooks in, dude, that would sell. Faux show.
Patches. Well, I can. There's this one brand that we can get at work that makes these like they're tactical backpacks.
Yeah.
And it's the same one that I made for Jeff and Kendra and sent them one as like a surprise. I have at least 2 of them, and then I think I gave Jake one maybe, but it's like it's not crazy expensive. They're nice little backpacks. Like for herping, it's a good size. It's not huge. It's not tiny either. It's got about 1 million pockets on it. I don't know. We'll see. I'll get a pulse on that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I actually I had a excuse me. I had plans to make a PVC Velcro patch, tactical style Velcro patch for all of us nerds out there.
PVC patches are expensive as shit.
That was expensive. I wound up going to a printed Velcro patch, fabric printed, and it was a lot cheaper. But the problem is I didn't do it enough time for Daytona. And I was going to make like a handful of them because I have friends that do a lot of patch stuff in the tactical world. And I was going to make a handful of them and just like secretly like stick them on people like throughout, like people I knew who like deserved the patch, you know? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to conspire with you, Smitty, and we're going to do it this year. We have plenty of time.
Oh, okay.
And when I send you the logo, you're going to be like, oh shit, here we go.
Let me see if I'll show these backpacks while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'll pull them up if I can find it. Yeah, farming out the decals. I've thought about that too. I need to look into it.
Yeah.
But
did you guys hear that?
What is it? Thunder?
No, it sounded like a helicopter. It was a flock of Muscovy ducks landing in my lake.
Nice.
That's a good looking backpack.
They're nice. Like I said, I've got one that I keep in my car.
How many liters is it?
Oh my god, I can't read. Dimensions are 18 high, 11 and a half wide, 6 inches deep, approximately 1,500 cubic inches.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah,
So
it's a good
look,
size. Like I said, it's
yeah.
not massive. It's not tiny.
Is it fairly hard framed or like hard shelled at all, or is it like smushed down?
No, it's soft.
Nice, that's good. I mean, so yeah, you could use it as a herping backpack.
I don't know.
I'm
I just don't
actually-
know what I would like put on it. That would like maybe just the FA logo or something small.
Yeah.
Nothing huge. Maybe I'll bring
Yeah,
a
that'd be
couple of
cool.
get a couple made.
Yeah, for sure. I'm secretly a backpack guy, but most of the backpacks that I look at are they're in the tactical world, and
Williams here
very,
about to go
very
overthrow the
particular.
government.
Yeah,
He's
he
got his
is.
patch and everything. He's ready to
He's got
go.
his beanie.
He's gonna go take over Gotham with Bane.
Yeah, he's got his IR patch, but he doesn't own night vision.
Spacious main compartment, interior office and organization pockets, hydration port, web carry handle, ergonomic padded shoulder straps with daisy chain, adjustable quick release buckle sternum strap, padded air mesh back panel, tricol lined valuables pocket. I don't know what tricol is. I don't know. I feel like every time I pick these things up, it's got more pockets than it had before, but there's a lot of pockets on it.
Yeah, looks good.
There's no shortage.
Yeah, for sure. Faux show.
I don't know. Like I said, I have a few. It's a good little bag.
Nice.
Oh, put
Good
the Venom
stuff.
Exchange radio on the khaki pack.
Yeah, that'll look good. That'll look good.
He looks like he's going to go smoke crack in the 7-Eleven bathroom.
Wow. Kind of right.
Yeah, I've looked into patches. I thought about getting some PVC ones too. It's just one of those things. Like patches they're really cost effective if you're buying like a ton of them.
Yeah.
Like, the name of the game with patches especially is volume.
Well, I had a couple Velcro patches that were screen printed that from this one company, and you could do whatever you want. They would custom make anything you wanted, and their whole thing was, if you let us put it on our website for sale, then it's like, I don't know, $5 a patch, right?
I mean, that makes sense because then they're not, they're making the most out of it.
So I did that for work once, and I only made like 10 patches, and it was fine. It was like $50, whatever. But I tried to reach out to them, and they ducked me. And so yeah. So I'm gonna hit them up again when in the next couple months. So I have plenty of time before Daytona, and if they can make that patch for us, then I'll just have them do that. But we'll figure it out.
I thought about I bought a little pack of like sublimation patches. I just haven't done anything with them because I was going to experiment with some stuff. But I also thought about getting some made because I think I can get them through a third party at work, and I think the minimum starts at like 50. And I thought about getting some to put on some hats and stuff. I was
gonna say, what's the
put on them? But
what's the wholesale cost on a blank screen printable Velcro patch?
Screen printable? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. Because it also depends. I mean, there's about 1 million sizes and shapes and configurations too. So, but the sublimation ones, I mean, since I have the printer and I have the presses and stuff at work, I figured I'd at least try them out. I just haven't had the time to really crack the code on it and figure out dimensions and what I need to do as far as printable area and stuff. I did think about getting a bunch of koozies made just to hand out.
Yeah, man. People love the promo freebie stuff, man.
Right.
It's worth it.
Yeah, sublimation's actually really cool. That's what I've been doing with all the mugs and stuff, and it's pretty neat. Sort of the science behind it and stuff.
Nice.
But
Very cool. Well, man, is there anything else you want to touch base on tonight? We're at that time.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we covered a lot. It's good. Even with our derailments.
Yeah, which there are many.
Always.
I want to put this Levis shirt on the website, but I'm Chris is convinced that I will have a cease and desist in my mailbox very quickly if I do that.
Yeah, I feel like the font you used is very similar to theirs, right? And it's the font
It's the same
in that.
font, but the font isn't the issue. Like the font is commonly available.
What I'm saying is using those letters in that arrangement in that font is probably a trademark violation. But if you put like Nephris right on top of the letter L in small letters, that could change it. I don't know.
Jeff said I should be covered by satire law. I'll have to look into that.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know. My thought was they have to send a cease and desist before they can actually like come after me.
Yeah.
I'll back down with the PP slap.
If it even gets to that point, they may look at you like, we have bigger fish to fry. There's more people making Fugazi Levi jeans than there is Reptile t-shirts. I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah.
It's not like you got signed for a contract at Old Navy. You know what I mean?
You don't know. That could be next.
It could be next. Well, when that happens, then you got to lawyer up.
They can only ask for the profit from any sales. Yeah, well, joke's on them. I don't sell any shirts. No one buys my stuff.
Write them a very steep check for $28.
Yeah, I've had people message me about screen printing on snake bags.
Yeah.
So I have considered that too. So
yeah, it's good.
That would be easy to do. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. The gears are always turning.
Yeah, man. For
slowly
sure.
and rustily, but they're turning.
For sure.
They're struggling a little bit sometimes, but they're doing the job.
Squirt some oil in there and keep on trucking.
Right. Well, this episode was brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. You need a rack. You need a cage. You need both. Shop around. See if you find something nice. Throw it in the shopping cart. Use the code THN at checkout. Get 10% off your order. If you're in the Southeast region or somewhat near North Georgia, there's a pickup option, so you can save on shipping and just go pick it up yourself straight from the BlackBox shop. And FullViewsApparel.com. Use the code THN at checkout. It's 15% off your order. The exclusive code just for THN listeners and viewers like you. And Puget Sound Pythons. Find people in the Pacific Northwest. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Follow them on Morph Market. All that stuff. All three. Stay in the loop. Know what they're doing because it's cool. And coldbloodedcaffeine.com. Use that link down below. Get yourself some coffee and some other good stuff. That Snakes and Stogies blend is where it's at. I was actually also talking to Trey about possibly buying some bags of whole bean to sell at Daytona too.
Yeah.
I just figured with the mugs and stuff, but then I wasn't sure because I know I'll have to ask him how long it is, like how long it's good for sealed, because I know like whole bean it lasts a little longer.
Yeah, but
shelf life wise, but
I'm sure if you got it on the Thursday before Daytona, it would be fine for the weekend.
Yeah, it was mostly just concerned that people it would be,
not fresh.
Almost a week before they actually got it and cracked it and
that'd be fine.
Ground it and all that stuff. So
those people are eating some freeze-dried Tasty's Choice. They're fine.
This is true. Oh, we are not doing a show Thursday because I'm going to a hockey game.
Nice.
So maybe Jake and Sky are gonna do another flipping tin. I don't know. I haven't even really told Jake yet, so need to figure that out. But yeah, mugs with a bag of coffee would be cool.
Hell yeah.
And Trey should allow you to sell it on consignment. So he actually does, like, you can sell their stuff. You get like wholesale pricing basically. So I wouldn't even really do the consignment thing. I just buy it wholesale, and if I did it, it wouldn't be that much. It would only be a couple bags. You know, it wouldn't be a lot. Just something to have. You know, represent.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you later.
Bye.